Today is Monday, May 23rd. What to know about a rare storm that caused catastrophic damage in northern Michigan. And after hundreds of allegations a few years ago, a scathing new report is bringing up new challenges for one Christian community. Also, what's really going on with monkeypox? We'll explain where the rare virus has popped up and why experts say there's no reason to panic. Plus, you'll want to check your pantry about this one. Thousands of popular peanut butter jars are recalled. There are new efforts to deal with the baby formula shortage nationwide. We'll tell you one of the best-paying summer jobs for teens this year, and which two major sporting events ended with two surprise winners. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. People in parts of northern Michigan are cleaning up from a rare, powerful tornado. The storm tore through the city of Gaylord, about 2.5 hours north of Lansing. And sadly, it caused 2 deaths, dozens of injuries, and widespread damage. This caught a lot of people by surprise, since tornadoes are so unusual in that part of the country. The National Weather Service says Michigan usually only gets about 15 tornadoes a year, and even then, those usually happen further south, and they're not quite this strong. With this tornado, some homes were crushed, roofs were ripped off buildings, traffic lights stopped working, and power lines and trees were knocked down. Michigan's governor declared a state of emergency for the area, which will help make state resources available to those who need it. There's a long road to recovery ahead. But as the governor wrote on Twitter, quote, "Michiganders are tough, we are resilient, we will do what it takes to rebuild." A new report uncovered some disturbing allegations about a prominent Christian church with nearly 14 million members. The leaders from the largest Protestant denomination, the Southern Baptist Convention, just released the results of an independent investigation. It found sex abuse survivors were often ignored, minimized, and even vilified by top clergy in the church over the last 2 decades, and that the alleged abusers were protected or even supported by leaders. The report says that meant at times, convicted molesters were serving in the ministry with no warning to their church or congregation. Other times, alleged predators were never charged at all. On top of that, this report says the leaders did have a list of hundreds of offenders, but they kept it secret to avoid the possibility of getting sued. This all first got attention back in 2019. Local media outlets like the Houston Chronicle reported hundreds of abuse cases within Southern Baptist churches. Since then, a firm was hired to look into those reports. Now, the Southern Baptist Convention's current president responded to this most recent report, saying he's grieved to his core for the victims. And he told Southern Baptists to prepare to see their denomination change its culture and implement reforms. The convention's next meeting is scheduled for next month. Starting today, there was supposed to be a big change in policy at the U.S.-Mexico border, but it's not happening anymore. A federal judge blocked Title 42 from being lifted. Remember, Title 42 is the rule that went into effect because of the pandemic. It lets border officials turn away most undocumented adults right away without giving them a legal hearing. Well, just before that rule was going to end today, a judge agreed with states who sued over it. So that leaves Title 42 in place. The judge said lifting Title 42 would have caused irreparable harm because it would cause a huge immigration rush. And with that, states would have to spend money on healthcare, law enforcement, education, and other services for migrants. Well, that decision likely sparked the next months-long legal battle. The U.S. Justice Department has already filed an appeal, and the Homeland Security Department is still defending its decision to lift it, saying Title 42 is not an immigration tool, but a public health order that doesn't make sense anymore with the latest CDC guidance. So, to be continued. President Biden has wrapped up his trip to South Korea, and now it's on to Japan. Already, he's made a lot of announcements. He visited a military base where thousands of American and South Korean service members are monitoring a nuclear threat from North Korea. Then President Biden and his South Korean counterpart said they're considering expanding joint military exercises to deter that threat. On this trip, Biden also spoke about strengthening the economy back at home. He said he convinced foreign companies like Hyundai to launch new operations in the U.S. Biden also toured a Samsung computer chip plant and highlighted how the Korean electronics giant is building a $17 billion production facility in Texas. Today, in Japan, the president is set to meet with Japan's prime minister and lay out his vision for a new trade agreement. Then tomorrow, Biden will meet with leaders from not only Japan, but also India and Australia about their strategic alliance. More news is coming up, but first, a quick break for our sponsor. Have you ever seen someone wearing a colorful, cute pair of flats? they might have been Rothy's. Whenever I wear my bright red Rothy's flats, which is quite often, people take notice and compliment them. So I ordered another black pair just to make sure I could truly wear my Rothy's flats with everything. But I love that I can always go back to Rothy's for more head-turning designs in bright yet sophisticated colors. No matter the color, these are the cutest and most comfortable flats I've ever come across. They're almost like wearing slippers, but of course, much more stylish. Plus, I love that Rothy's takes sustainability to the next level. All of their products are knit with thread made from plastic water bottles. So your new favorite shoes are waiting. Discover the versatile styles you can wear absolutely anywhere and get $20 off your first purchase at rothys.com/newsworthy. That's Rothys, ROTHYS, rothys.com/newsworthy to get $20 off your first order. rothys.com/newsworthy. Health experts are trying to get to the bottom of the spread of a rare but sometimes serious disease. More than 100 monkeypox cases are now under investigation across 12 countries in Europe and North America, because typically monkeypox cases only turn up in Africa. To be clear, these outbreaks are very small. In fact, there have only been 3 reported cases here in the U.S., and infectious disease experts say they're not likely to cause a global pandemic like COVID-19. And many say there's no need to panic about this. Still, it can sometimes be serious, so they're paying close attention to the trends. One CDC official told Stat News the virus can be transmitted to humans from animals or from other humans. But usually you only get it if you are in very close contact with someone else who has it, like if you're a family member or healthcare provider. Symptoms start like the flu with a fever, fatigue, and body aches, and then a widespread rash can develop on the face and body as well as blisters. Some people can die from it, but most recover within 2 to 4 weeks. And monkeypox can be treated with an antiviral drug. It seems the U.S. government is preparing, too, since it's stocking up on vaccines. Just last week, vaccine maker Bavarian Nordic said it got an order worth nearly $120 million from the U.S. government. The vaccine works against both monkeypox and smallpox. A military plane carrying 78,000 pounds of specialty infant formula from overseas has now landed in the U.S. It's the first shipment from the government's Operation Fly Formula in response to the critical nationwide shortage. The shipment landed in Indianapolis and is enough formula to fill more than 500,000 baby bottles. This is prescription formula meant specifically for babies who are allergic to cow's milk. But the White House says more formula should be showing up in stores as early as next week. There's another shipment planned to land in Pennsylvania on Wednesday. And the president has already ordered suppliers of key ingredients in formula to send their products to formula makers before any other customers. Also, Congress passed and President Biden signed a bill that's meant to make it easier for families in need to find and buy baby formula. Both Democrats and Republicans came together to pass this. It basically waives some of the requirements for families who take part in a government nutrition program for women, infants, and children known as WIC. And this impacts a lot of people. Families in this government program buy about half of the baby formula in the U.S. Remember, this shortage is happening because of product recalls and a manufacturing plant that shut down over safety concerns, and that's on top of other supply chain issues. Heads up, a bunch of Jif peanut butter jars are now recalled. The recall includes pretty much all varieties of the popular peanut butter brand. We're talking creamy, crunchy, natural, and more, and they were sold in stores across the country. The reason for this recall is an outbreak of salmonella linked to a manufacturing facility in Kentucky. The CDC says more than a dozen people have gotten sick and at least 2 people have had to be hospitalized. Salmonella can cause an illness that shows up 12 to 72 hours later. Most people will recover within several days. Because peanut butter can last a long time in your pantry, the FDA is reminding people to check for any Jif jars you may have forgotten about. If they match the details of the recall, they should be thrown out immediately. We'll link to the details of this recall in our episode notes on thenewsworthy.com. 2 major sporting events ended with 2 surprise winners this weekend. Most recently, in golf, Justin Thomas won his second PGA championship. And he did it by rallying from 7 shots behind, forcing a playoff with Will Zalatoris. In the end, Thomas won it by 1 shot. One thing a lot of people noticed about the PGA Championship yesterday, the final round happened without 15-time major champion Tiger Woods, since he withdrew after the 3rd round. On Saturday, Woods recorded his worst score ever in a PGA Championship. He was reportedly feeling a lot of pain in his right leg that was seriously damaged in a car crash 15 months ago. Also, over the weekend, a horse named Early Voting won the second Triple Crown race of the year, the Preakness Stakes. He crossed the finish line with a comfortable lead over the second-place horse named Epicenter. Epicenter also happened to be the favorite and the runner-up at the Kentucky Derby. Early Voting actually didn't race at all at the Kentucky Derby to prepare for this one. And the horse who did win there, Rich Strike, did not race at Preakness Stakes to get ready for the next one, and that's the Belmont Stakes next month. But we still don't know if Early Voting and Rich Strike will end up going up against each other, so stay tuned. That's it for the main news, so now it's time for Money Monday, when we talk about one interesting money-related news story. But first, a message from our sponsor. Changing diapers is just a part of parenthood that we can't avoid. And our kiddos are cute enough that ultimately we're okay with it. But why not make that part of the job as easy as possible on ourselves? Pampers Cruisers 360 Fit has the best fit and protection for your active baby. My little boy Dax is walking these days, which means there's no slowing him down. And I love that the 360 gap-free fit stretches around his waist, moving with him, and they won't gap in the back. Plus, unlike regular taped diapers, Dax cannot pull these diapers off with just one yank. Yep, I, the adult, can because they have easy tear sides, but he can't. Plus, the material feels super soft and comfortable. I can tell my baby loves it too because he's finally stopped tugging at his diaper, and we're seeing fewer rashes, which is key. Cruisers 360 Fit locks wetness away from skin for up to 12 hours, meaning I don't need to worry or get up overnight. And these diapers are hypoallergenic, free of elemental chlorine, bleaching, parabens, and latex. Plus, we're talking about Pampers here, the #1 pediatrician recommended brand. Buy in-store and download the Pampers Club app today to start earning rewards with every diapers and wipes purchase. Now back to Money Monday. Well, teenagers are raking in the big bucks these days, partly because parents are desperate for some help. The rates for a babysitter just keep going up. Childcare marketplace Care.com says babysitters on its site are now charging an average of $18.05 an hour, even for just one child. That's nearly $3 an hour more than in 2020. In some parts of the country, teen babysitters are even charging upwards of $30 an hour. As the Wall Street Journal explains, they can charge more because babysitters are a scarce commodity for a few reasons. For example, a daycare worker shortage that's left parents scrambling to make other arrangements since a lot of facilities don't have the staff to take care of as many kids as they used to. Also, a lot more competition for teen workers since places like restaurants and retail stores are paying them more these days too. The Journal also says a lot of parents just think the extra price is worth it since so many of them have been hunkering down with their children during the height of the pandemic. Now they're ready to go back to the office jobs and social lives, no matter the cost. All right, thank you so much for listening today and for sharing the show. We'll be back with much more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.